How you doing? Thanks for tuning in. I'm so glad you're here. We're getting ready to spend a day working on flat rate in this here shop with me, making it work. I'm Jimmy if you're new. Look at that, someone emptied the garbage can. Really good week last week, and this week kind of dropped off. Not terrible though. I think I'm at like 26, 27 hours. Today's Thursday, so we'll be all right. We'll hit 40 hours. I consider that the baseline. If I can get to 40 hours, it wasn't a total disaster. I'd rather do 50 or 60 or 70 or 80. My best week ever was 94 hours. But it's been a long, long time since I've even hit 70 hours. I'm literally like probably 6-7 months, something like that. In any event, we're going to keep trying. Every day I come in with the same motivation, the same energy, the same positive attitude, thinking that I will find a way to make it work, make some money, get some people back on the road. I love fixing cars. You know, a car comes in broken. My goal is I'm not only thinking how much money can I make, I'm thinking of fixing this car and getting it working for the customer and making whatever living I can doing that. So that's how it works in my world, at least. Hope you guys are doing well. We got about 59 degrees this morning. Just chilly enough for a sweatshirt, but I'll have it off in probably an hour. It'll get up in the 60s, high 60s pretty quick here. 80 something degrees is supposed to be today. I don't know what happened, but I'm just glad my sister in Vermont took her weather back, because I like it in the 70s. If I could have it that way every day, it'd be great. High 60s maybe. Tell me what it's like where you guys are, if it's getting a little bit warmer. I hope it is for you. But I am anxious to get started. I got a little Burger King on the way in. I said, you know what? I haven't had a nice ham, egg, and cheese sandwich from Burger King in a while. What a disaster that was. It's like 15 minutes in the drive-thru. And then I get the sandwich, I unwrap it, and the paper's all stuck to it. And it's this tiny little shell of what it used to be a big, nice sandwich. So they raised the price and lowered the quality. Typical corporate America nowadays. The quality doesn't mean anything anymore. Let me know if the Burger Kings and other fast food establishments near you have gone downhill too. Kind of curious. Maybe it's just Kissimmee. Maybe everything in Kissimmee is going to trash. I don't know. But thanks to you guys, I can know. Let's stop flapping, get the shop open up, and get started. Stay tuned. Well, that might not look normal. It's a 2013 Hyundai Elantra with 185,000. I love my car miles. Pretty well taken care of, pretty clean, not perfect, but what I would expect from your average adult person. It's got a pulling problem. Someone else aligned it. A different shop, I believe. Looks like the tires are fairly new, but I didn't get a really good look. But he's saying he has a vibration and a pull. He said to check his suspension arms, please, and let him know if he owes me anything. Like, well, if I find something wrong, we'll let you know. The car's actually in really nice shape for 185,000 miles. Let's get it in the air and see what is broken. Well, it's got new arms, well, fairly new. Struts fairly new. Brakes brand new. Both sides. This arm maybe not quite as new, but it's been replaced at some point. At least I think. I don't see any ball joint problems. The tires are pretty worn in the front. I don't see a shifted belt. What I'll do normally is look at the bottom of the tire or the top if the car is not up in the air so much. And you look in the tread gaps and in the tread itself and see if you see any skips. You can also look in these wear marks, wear molds, and see if you see any patches where it's worn more than other spots. And it does look a little weird, but nothing terrible. And like I've mentioned earlier, some people have even said, well, you got to road test it first and verify the complaint. When a customer says, check my suspension arms, it pulls, That tells me, is something going to fall off this car? I'm going to at least do a preliminary inspection, make sure it's safe. Then I'll take it for a drive, verify the concern. And the traffic's really light right now, so it won't take a half an hour to do it. It'll take 10 minutes, which is about what I like. We don't get paid for that time. It's just part of what we do. So you have to be, sometimes you waste time trying to save that time, and sometimes you save time saving that time. So I make that call on each individual repair. Sometimes that's good, sometimes it's not. You should just follow a routine every time, do it the same way. But a couple things I don't like in this tire, the fact that it's kind of worn out as well, but I'm gonna go drive it now. Everything looks tight, no safety concerns. And we'll see what we feel on the road. Feels like a radial tire pull, and it's got a shake, a little bit of a shake at about 10 or 20 miles an hour too. Look at these front tires. We'll swap them left to right and see if it goes to the left. I wouldn't call it really bad, but it is definitely noticeable. If you're driving down the road, it takes a little bit of an effort to hold the wheel so the car will go straight. If you let go of the wheel, the car just whoop, right to the right. Should be a tire. We'll see. As I suspected with that cream puff Elantra, it now pulls to the left since we switched the tires left to right. It needs two front tires and an air filter and wiper blades. So we'll see if we get to do something to it. Don't be alarmed, the building's not on fire. It's Jace having a smoke. Haven't I mentioned that yet? Look at this cream puff. It's 9:30. Get ticket number 2. Ready to go. We're gonna make it happen today. We need 2 tires. We need an air filter. We need a wipers and a cabin filter. We got a 2002 or 2001 Chrysler Town and Country. I thought it said Chrysler Caravan. I'm like, no such thing, you liar. 87,000 original miles. Really nice vehicle. Just needs a little, I'm not sure what that is. One of those powdered donuts. That's probably like an 8. Something like that. What do you think? 7, 8? Needs a minor detail on this thing. Will be really nice. He says he feels some shaking and wants a general inspection. Brakes. Said the brake pedal feels low. I'm gonna say not that low. Maybe we can, if it has drum brakes, we could adjust them a little. Or maybe there's a little tiny bit of air. Ooh, the hubcap's melting. Maybe it does have a brake problem. Of course, these are like those. These are those hubcaps that are $9 a set. But we're going to do an inspection. We're going to show you what we find. Good morning. Hey, Giuseppe made it in. It needs a little work. We're going to find out exactly what it needs, and we're going to show you. Get a microphone. Oh, there it is. That's one of the problems with using this mic. It takes a second to turn on. I got to wait. Anyhow, let's get you caught up. They wanted the brakes checked, and we checked them, and they're new. Well, they're new on this wheel. The problem is when you go over to this wheel, 3 of the 4 hubcaps are melted, and someone just did brake work. But here, it looks like the brakes are dragging. See how hot the pads look? What about now? Look at this pad. You see that crispy edge? That means someone is driving this car around, driving this daisy with their foot on both pedals. Because someone changed the hoses, calipers, rotors, pads, and it's still getting hot. This side's worse than that side, so could it be a defective caliper? Or could it be air in the right side so it doesn't drag as much kind of thing? Who knows for sure. This has been replaced. Also shows a little signs of heat. This side here I can see through the wheel, but one of the studs is going to break. I got the nut about to turn out and it stopped. So I stopped also. But if you look in here, maybe on a lesser light, it is getting white hot. So left front and right rear. That tells us something. If it has a master cylinder that works cross, I don't think that applies on a 2001. I know some of the older cars, when they first were starting to do ABS and things, they would do left front, right rear, left rear, and right front. But I just don't think that's the case on this. I have to look and make sure, but something is not right. The brakes are not stuck now, but these Chryslers are really bad. We had a time, actually my wife had one and left her stranded. The calipers locked up. Ruined a good set of pads and stuff too. They were only half worn when it happened. And she got stuck with my kids, so I got rid of it and got her at Honda. Anyway, really tough to say because they are not locked up now. Sometimes they'll get hot and then lock up, and sometimes people are just using 2 feet. And this is an older lady. They dropped this car off. They had an '89 Toyota Corolla, and this 2001 Caravan is their new car. Not criticizing, just stating the facts. And older people tend to ride the brakes a little bit because they're a little more concerned. Got new rear shocks. Doesn't have the struts that it probably should. A little rusty. This thing's got the original spark plugs from 2001 in it. Super rusty. I took a picture of how rusty and crusty they are. It doesn't feel like it runs too good, so I'm recommending those. They got to catch up on some maintenance. You have to ask them if they're driving with 2 feet, because that's a big no-no. Unless you're really good at it, like a race car driver, sometimes they'll drive at 2 feet. Matter of fact, they have to. But let me see how we're going to approach this, what they want to do up front. I don't know if we did this brake work or someone else, but there's going to be some warranted stuff. It's going to need studs and nuts in the right rear, and probably calipers right rear and left front at least. If it's our work, it'll be under warranty, and then we'll have to give them instructions on how to drive with mostly only using your right foot. You'll see the brake pedal in some cars. When people drive with 2 feet, the brake pedal will be worn more in the middle or even on the left side. And the brake pedal is worn on the right side. It usually means they're using their right foot. Also very possible. We'll see what happens with this car. We're going to go to the next level. This one tire is from 2014, by the way, too. The rest of them 2017. So they're all 9 years old or older. Got a little bit of a shifted belt in this left front tire. Maybe the heat has something to do with it. You guys might remember this truck. 2004 Avalanche, going on 300,000 miles. Just an oil change. She's here 2,000 miles early, but that's how she rolls. She said something about her driving lights not working too. If we're gonna take a look at that, I'll let you know. Headlights kind of nasty. These look new. Yeah, we'll just do, if we find any work on it during the oil change and inspection, of course we'll show you that, but oil changes are going to be exciting. Neither is warranty brakes or tires, but that's what we're doing today. We're going to do what we can do. 300,000 miles, it's already got problems. I think it's 300, well, 292,596. My bad. Auto VIN failed, so we're going American Chevrolet. Now it might do it. Once you know it's a Chevy, then you can talk to it, I guess. I'm trying to get out of the glare. A little awkward looking backwards, but that's all right. I do what I can for my viewers. Because it's an old girl, and she's been through some stuff, although she's well taken care of. Yep, I know you failed. Yeah, let's end our diagnostic session. Don't forget your dongle. Okay. Auto search. Let me get this vehicle in here, and we'll take a look at some ABS data. What do you think about that? All right, 2004 Avalanche. Automatic transfer case. All you got to do on that is look to see if it has an auto button, and it also has 4 buttons. The manual ones only have 3, so we're going to go yep. 4 button selectable. We already verified that. This has the up level radio, no navigation. This has dual automatic climate control. The only reason it wants to know that information is to know if it should look for that module, I believe. Under 8,600, there's no Avalanches over 8,600 gross vehicle weight that I know of. We're going to scan all the modules, look for all the codes. The only one we're really worried about is our ABS. The powertrain code, I was thinking might have one, because sometimes this vehicle will crank and not start the first attempt, and you let off the key and start it again, it fires right up. And it's been doing that very intermittently for 10 years she's been coming here. And one of the other guys put a cam sensor in it to try to remedy that problem. It didn't affect it, but I do believe we put it like a aftermarket brand, maybe an AC Delco one would make a difference. But usually a crank no start is a cam sensor deal, but it could be something in the circuits or something as well. What's really odd is every single time without fail, if you get it to do it, you turn the key off and back on, it fires right up. And it's very random. So something you probably could put a scope on the cam and crank sensors, and when you see a variation and turn the key on, when you initially crank it, if you see a variation in the cam signal or something weird, like it's not quite showing the correct square wave, they won't let it turn the injectors on. That's what it runs the injectors off the cam sensor. As you can tell, I suspect it's something to do with the cam sensor, but we've never been able to pinpoint it, because as soon as you hook things up, it'll start working, and it'll go for days sometimes. And you take everything off, she comes to get it, and it does it. That's just how it works, I guess, in this business. We told her once it gets worse, we'll be able to find it. It won't even set a code. You would think it would have a cam sensor P0340 type code, but boy, I've been talking a lot while this thing works. We're up to 2 minutes. Okay, shut up and we'll come back. All right, we got our codes. We got no state of health from a certain module. Doesn't tell you what one though. U1000. The last test though, it all passed. So that's a history code in the passenger present system, which has to do with your seat sensors. They detect that there's weight in the seat, so they know how to work airbags and stuff. The ABS light is on because of a pump motor circuit open code C0267. I was expecting a sensor problem or something, but I suppose not. So what happens on these, if it tries to run the pump during testing, it'll randomly test that pump motor. When you start the car up, it might test it. Shut the car off, it might test it. And if it doesn't see the correct voltage drop from the pump motor turning on, then it sets this code. So we'll have to verify that, see if it's doing it now or if it's intermittent. And I'll send them a report so they have it in their files. I was hoping to have some data to show you from a bad ABS sensor, to tell you the truth. The pump motor code's not going to be nearly as exciting, but we'll see what we can do. I went into clear codes to go ahead and get rid of all those pesky codes. Sent the report to them. We're going to go out there and see what we can see with that ABS module. Usually that pump assembly or the motor goes bad and it sets that code. I tried clearing the code out directly in the module. It comes right back. So kind of concerning. I'm guessing it's going to have a bad ABS module, but we changed the whole hydraulic and electrical part together, because the driver and the module goes bad trying to run the bad pump motor, and they kind of take each other out. That's what I've seen in the bunch of these I've done, which is quite a few. Yes, I know you're done. Yeah, the code comes right back for that one. So let's see what we can see in a wiring diagram. If we can test it, it might be internal, I think, on this, and you just check for power and grounds. Like I said, I've done so many of these. It's going to be fairly cut and dry if we got good power and ground. Needs an ABS unit. I brought my test light with me, but I'm looking in here at the bulbs, and they melted. So sockets and bulbs to start off with, not even any reason to take it apart. She's waiting for this, by the way. She wants to know about her intermittent crank no start that happens very rarely. We've been trying to figure it out for about 10 years. She wants to know about ABS, the light's not working, get an oil change, and the intermittent no crank, and she's waiting. So it's going to be a long wait probably. But we'll see. I know it needs light bulbs and sockets for both running lights. Neither of them work. And we're back to just doing an oil change and letting them know about that and seeing how far they want to go with the other stuff while she waits. I'm going to let that oil filter drip. It's a little heart content. Got a new one right here. There's 6 quarts of delicious 5W30 synthetic dinosaur blood. They are working on an estimate for this thing. That's going to be awkward. It's going to be a long wait getting parts and fixing it and all that stuff. She might be here till Monday. But we got a cot, we got a water fountain, we got some snacks, Doritos and Cheetos. What else you need? Don't spray yourself in the face, but you do have to clean some stuff, so you do what you gotta do. Don't want it to look like it's leaking when you're done, right? So many times I see someone just change the oil on a car and the drain plug's got drips on it and the filter's got drips on it, but it's not leaking, it just wasn't cleaned. Can't be changing people's oil and not airing up their tires. Apparently your heater also doesn't work well, so we're gonna look at that. Fast and Furious Volkswagen Golf. Good to the last drop. Oh yeah. All right, oil change is done on this from my day in the shop and my DS600 video. We're gonna test to see why the heater doesn't work. She says the heater is inoperative. Let's go like this, automatic. Let me just go max, because it's not 90 out, so it should come on, right? I don't hear any fans. That's strange. Let's go defrost. Is that what she means? The heater doesn't work? The fan doesn't work. Alright, that's easy. Go around the other side and smack the fan motor. I was going to try a recalibration. Can't really get to it. I got to take some screws out of here so I can get in there to really give it a good tap. Now you stay right here. Don't go anywhere. This is going to get a little ugly. Huh. I wonder why it's not running. Let me get a new tapping device. If this don't work, we're going to have to use modern methods like test lights and stuff. That's not melted, that's good. Alright, I'm going to get a test light or a voltmeter on it. Might actually have a bad blower motor or a bad control panel. These resistors can go bad and not send any power. Normally what it does, if it goes through the resistor on lower speeds, it just sends out less of a ground. On higher speeds, it sends out maximum ground and basically bypasses the resistor, although the connector goes through it. So the resistor can definitely cause a no fan. So we got to get a voltmeter. Well, I got a test light out here because I was going to use it for those driving lights. Let's see if that works. Get a nice bright test light. We know what we got. Nope. Oh, you guys fell over. Oh, my bad. You alright? Hit your head. You're not bleeding. You're not bleeding. You're alright. You're alright. Calm down. Oh, my goodness gracious. It's a good thing I can edit, because otherwise this whole thing would be a disaster. There you go. No cooperation whatsoever. That's fine. Got it anyway. Polarity won't matter with a test light. If I can get it in the connector at all, yeah, I don't think there's any power here. Okay. Now we're going to see if there's power going into the resistor. I'm going to go look at the fuses, I think, next. I wanted to see if this was melted too, and it's not. The signal wire comes from the control module as the center wire, and the two larger ones power everything. So let's do that. If we have power here, then the resistor's bad. If we don't, then the fuse is probably blown. If it's not a fuse, we're dealing with wiring or a control panel issue. Alright, the fuse is good under the hood. So we got more serious. Someone put their drink cup on the mechanic's workbench and made a mess of my printout. But I got a better idea what wires are supposed to do what, which, as I expected, the red is the positive and the black is the negative, which is how it usually is, but there's no guarantees in this world. So instead of poking my test light into the corner, I decided to be more professional and go get my voltmeter and do it right. I don't want anyone getting all upset in the comments. We got 12.5 volts going in the resistor. So we're gonna see about the voltage going to the blower again. Aha, 12.5 volts on the ground. So now I'm going to go back probe to the signal wire and see if it's telling the resistor to run the fan. I got to look that one up. 5.4 volts. So if I change the fan speed at the control, oops, it came out. I wish this was a little easier to see and to do, but we're doing what we can. 5.4 volts. Let's change the fan speed and see if it changes up here. Let's start the engine too, just in case that matters. In the flat rate world, when the customer's waiting, you're trying to be thorough, get it figured out, and you're trying to be fast. Sometimes, if you play your hunches and take a shot at a guess to save time, it can cost you more time. But all you can do is the best you can do in a given moment. You can second guess all you want after you get things sorted out. Now what this is probably going to do is not show me on my meter because it's a square wave. So the voltage will stay the same, but it'll change the square wave duty cycle, which should affect the voltage slightly, but it's really hard to see on a meter. Might need a scope-a-rooney. Let me make sure of my suspicions on the operating theory of this thing. It's not grounding the blower motor to run it, but I want to know if the module is telling the resistor to do that or not. We got some sockets, we got some bulbs, we got some butt connectors, so we're going to connect our these electrical connectors. You can see how this is melted pretty good. So we're going to go ahead and swap out these sockets and bulbs. If you just put bulbs in this, they're either not going to work at all or melt again real soon. One's power, one's ground. It doesn't really matter which is which. Even on the new ones, they're both white. So just going to cut them, strip them back, butt connect them, and off we go. There's lots of wire on these. We don't need that much. I will make them a little longer just to make it easier to connect everything. We'll stagger them a little bit too. And since we're going to be tucking down in here, I don't want to lose any butt connectors if they fall off. I'll go ahead and mount the butt connectors to these wires first. I am going to connect them the same way, the right one to the right side, just so I feel better, but it doesn't matter. Have we talked about soldering versus butt connecting before? I think we have. I think we beat that up enough, maybe. For the new people, nothing in a wiring harness is soldered from any manufacturer from the factory. Solder can make the wire ends brittle, and when the wires flex a lot, they'll break. They even break without soldering. If you solder them, it happens that much faster because it wicks into the wires and makes them brittle. Wherever the solder ends, it's the most brittle point, and that's when they break. Because of vibrations and stuff, no manufacturer uses solder except on circuit boards and things like that that don't move. But you can solder if you like. I'm not going to say it's wrong. Butt connectors have to be done correctly, just like soldering has to be done correctly. I've seen people say, well, butt connectors, I always see them not done right. Well, that happens with solder too. So a lot of people don't know how to solder. I learned how to solder racing RC cars and building batteries and stuff. Twist the wires up. Now what I do is I use this to crimp them initially, and then I go up here behind the blade just as a little flat spot, and I think it crimps them a little better. So I go over it just a little more with that. Let me get this side buttoned up. We'll go on the other side. Melt our wires in place. Pop a bulb in there. We'll go to the other side. I'm pretty confident I'm going to just put both sockets and bulbs on. We'll see if they work. I bet you they will. My evil plan, not going to work. Need a longer bungee. I got some around here, don't you worry. It'll help. Look at that poor thing. This one's melted really bad. You see that thing? No coming back from that. The bulb will only touch positive and negative no matter how you put it in. There's 2 positives, 1 negative. No matter which way you face it.
We're gonna use the blower resistor just to test it.
I need the blower resistor because it's bad, and hopefully that's the only thing that's bad.
Okay.
Because I didn't run the blower motor yet.
Okay.
But it's not sending power, not grounding the blower motor.
Cool. All right.
So if we don't get that soon, it'll be after lunch. Hopefully we'll get it soon.
He's not being paid on that ABS module until next week, so I just realized we better get that to him.
Okay.
Jimmy brake inspection, Audi.
Alright. When do you want me to do the brakes on the Caravan?
We have that till 10 a.m. tomorrow morning.
Oh, okay. Alright. We got an emergency Audi customer waiting on brake check. Lunch is in like 20 minutes. This customer's waiting. But right now, trying to get her lights working. I think this one has to be in drive to put those running light. To put those running lights on. So they're not going to work until we put it in gear and look in the mirror. We can get another shirt, that's no big deal. Shut the door in case that matters. That's kind of strange. They're not working at all. I'm looking in the mirror up there. Huh. What do you think? Auto, high beam, low beam, everything works except those 2 bulbs I just put in. Oh, that's weird. They don't work. Well, let's get in there and find out why. Someone who's waiting is going to be waiting longer. Because if you want to wait, that's what you get to do. You wait. I'm going to check the fuses before I pull the headlights back out. See what we can find. Fuse is good. Ooh, look at that. That's the fuel pump relay. It's going to shut off in a second if I leave that out. I don't like the way that looks. I'm going to grab another relay out of my toolbox. Got me a brand new relay. I keep some on hand just in case. Now, let's see if it works. It looked like it got really hot, probably because those bulbs are drawing a lot of current. I don't know if that's going to fix it yet, but I'm going to shut the hood, put it in gear, and see if they pop on. Nope. Alright. It's 10 minutes to 1. This customer's waiting, and the Audi brake check they gave me is waiting. It's fixing to get ugly right here. Stay tuned for drama. We got a jumper relay. I'm gonna take my new relay I just put in out of there. We know the fuse is good. If you can see in the mirror up there, they turn on. Something might not be turning them on, or is my test relay also bad like the one I took out? Let's do this. This one should be the fuel pump, and we know the engine runs. Let's put a new one where the fuel pump was, and the fuel pump where the daytime running lights are. We'll see how that goes. Now I do have to put everything back together. Fuse panel, shut the hood, put it in gear, and it should put the runner lights on. The fuel pump works, so my test relay is good. For some reason, maybe because the auto lights are on, it's not putting the daytime running lights on. Or there's a problem in the control circuit separate from the melted sockets and bulbs. I don't know. She said the blower fan works, it's just the heat sometimes doesn't feel warm. I'm like, well, the fan doesn't work, so she might be shocked when she goes to leave and the fan doesn't work. I don't know, we'll figure it out. We'll see what happens. Look in the mirror up there. No daytime running lights no matter what. Oh, you know what? Let's try blocking the sun load sensor. Oh, that makes it dark. So that makes it work. That would make it worse. Let's do this. The sun load sensor sees sun. I'm blasting it with my flashlight. See if it shuts off the running lights. So far, nothing. Oh, there you go. Turned off the daytime, turned off the automatic headlights and turned on the daytime running lights. Now if we take that away, the regular low beam should come on. So the computer wasn't turning them on because it wasn't satisfied with the conditions, but they work. So I spent another 10 minutes on it for nothing. The theory of operation, description of operation, whatever you want to call it, has a lot to do with a lot of this stuff, and all we do is the best we can do, right? So I spent 10 minutes figuring it out here instead of going inside to read the theory of operation. When it thinks it's dark enough to put the headlights on, of course it'll shut the daytime running lights off. Makes perfect sense. This one's done. Let's see where this Audi's at. I wanted to use this rack, that's why I had to finish this one first, and plus she's also waiting. Coming back for the ABS pump, I believe, too. We ate some lunch. We're back. We got some warranty parts. We're going to warranty the left side and the front. We didn't do the back, someone else did. I had to get this nut off of here. Hopefully the big one will do it. It stopped where it's at. Ah, piece of cake, baby. What's wrong with that? One of those, one of those. Actually, I can leave that on there. We are the world. We are the future. We're the ones who make a better day. So don't stop moving. They're not doing any calipers in the back for some reason. Good. Piston goes back pretty good. Kind of surprised. The Audi guy said, hell no. So he's out. I think I mentioned that already, just in case, not sure. Ryan was saying the front brakes were actually better than I thought looking through the wheel. Because I went to lunch, they checked that when I went to lunch. Look how hot those pads got. My gracious goodness. That's not supposed to be like that. They're turning to powder. Let's see if the piston looks okay on the caliper too here. The guy with the Audi actually, he said it was his son's car, so he couldn't authorize the repairs anyway. Which that's the two. You usually either get, I have to ask my wife, or it's my son's or daughter's car. Look at that, man. This caliper piston is literally, the rubber boot is melted. But it did go back, so I'm going to make sure they know that, and we'll decide from here where we're going to go with it. we're gonna rock these calipers. I cleaned up there was a bunch of rust and stuff on here. It doesn't look like they were changed with the calipers last time. It's hard to say. They don't really have the money, so we'll do the stud, the rotors and pads. If it chews up the pads and the rotor again, we'll warranty it and I'll buy a caliper. That's the plan. You always got to have some kind of plan. Man, it is just piling up. Parking brake shoes destroyed. Looks like I might have been driven with the parking brakes on because those shoes, Fast and Furious Honda, those shoes are baked too. Unless the rotors got hot enough to just make the parking brake shoes look like that, but I doubt it. Let's see if I can fit the stud out of there. Worst case scenario, I got to unbolt the hub. Put that garbage, I'm going to put that in scrap. The question is this going to fit in here somehow or another? And the bearing doesn't even feel that good. I think it's one thing after another. It's going to just pile up. Trade it in. But not quite enough room. I have to pull this hub out a little bit. Let's see. I'm going to look and see what Dodge thinks I'm supposed to do. It says to take the parking brake shoes off, but after the last Chrysler I did that on. We're not doing that if we can avoid it. I'm trying to see when it'll come out, when it'll fit. Gotta get a different setup. That one bolt I can't get. But I'm not taking these parking brake shoes off, so. See if the 120 XP will do it with a pry bar action going. Something happened. My goodness gracious. Oh, you know what? I'll tighten the one back up to get my keel out. Also, too, it said in the stud instructions not to hammer the old studs out. I've never had a problem before, but it said not to do that. FYI, don't do what Jimmy does sometimes. I'm over here making it work, not necessarily making it right. But I try. But I am definitely not perfect. Oh my goodness, all four-wheel stud. A lot of work four-wheel stud, I guess, nowadays. Even with the shoe out, I don't think it's going to clear the backing plate. Because that's what's hitting right now, the backing plate. And I've got all my bolts loose. But the hub doesn't want to come out because it's rusted in place. We need to put that stud in. About a half hour good? Sure. Yeah, that's good. Don't worry about me, I'll be fine. Pass me a tissue. I might have to put a slide hammer on here and pull the hub out a little bit. I really would rather not use that much force because I'm not replacing it. We can at least see if it'll jar at least. I went to Taco Bell for lunch with Joe. Ooh, big mistake. Should have ate the leftovers I brought. That was gross. Taco Bell's gone downhill too. The slimy remnants of meat were falling out of the taco, out of the bag. I'm like, I don't know what that is. It doesn't look like meat. Come on, man, I can see there's more space in there. trying to sneak up on us so nothing bad happens, but of course, you gotta have a plan. That's what matters the most. Now that I think I got it to move, it shouldn't be a big deal to move it the rest of the way, right? I really don't want to separate the hub from the nickel. The hub from the housing. I think the backing plate's coming out with it. As far as we're going at this process, kind of coming off the rails here. It's going to get really expensive if I mess something up for somebody. Somebody that doesn't have any money is about to incur some additional expenses. I need the hub and the backing plate separated from each other, not both of them separated from the axle. Guess what? About 8 millimeters away from getting it done. Who saw that coming? Well, give me about 45 minutes, an hour to figure this out. We'll come back. That's not going to make the family show. I had to beat this back while prying this forward with my short pry bar. Like this, hitting this back. The backing plate was rusted to the hub. They both wanted to come right off the axle, no problem. But we got it. That's what matters. Using our stud installation adapter tool deal. I didn't bolt this back in yet, so don't be alarmed if you see it jumping around. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be fine. I don't like to get my face directly over the socket. In case at the sides it's had enough. You don't want to be all up in it when it lets go. Alright. Goodness gracious. That was 45 minutes, just so you know. I gotta tighten these bolts back up. Bearing sketchy, but not blown out. I feel a little bit of roughness just starting. We don't have any option, so we're gonna rock it just as it is. That's the only choice we really have. That's option uno. That's not how you say only, I guess. That's how you say one. And one thing, if it comes back for hub bearing in a few months, it'll come out a little easier now. Ah, goodness gracious, that was well worth. I cleaned this off already a little bit with the wire brush while I was gathering my thoughts. And I just got to lubricate it. I was going to say something. Couldn't have been too important, it escaped my mind. This is the left hand. This is the other side here. Nice of them to label them for you. Appreciate that. One. This one you got to slide it in and get these little bumps in the correct spots. Sometimes you got to help. When they're in correctly, they'll be sitting flush on the caliper, just like that. Right up against it, no gap. Spring goes under, pads go over. Don't do that unless you're professional. Not recommended. The problem is these are so snug in that boot, you're not going to turn them in by hand. Watch your head. Once you're lined up, they go right in. Piece of cake. Finally, one wheel done. I got an hour in one wheel. That's not a good record pace. I don't know whose handprints they are, but they're not mine. Came out of the box like that. All fixed. All more better. Alright. My bolts are tight. Everything's looby-doobied. Ready to rock and roll. I had to unadjust the parking brake shoes on this side too. They look like they got hot on this side, but there's more of them left, so I couldn't get the rotor on. I actually had to unadjust them. They are released inside, so maybe the rotor has a little more material in there. Maybe they've been over adjusted and they're causing some of these heating problems. I don't know. I know one thing, it's adjusted now, but with no shoes on the right hand side, it's not really going to matter, because when the cable pulls, it's one cable split into two. Since that one won't be able to pull all the way, it'll just take up all the slack, and they'll probably barely put the parking brakes on. But like I said too, we're on a budget, so we're going to worry about that next time. The brake hose is like a 16-17 millimeter. I got both on my cart. Same Allens hold it to the bracket. We're going to do the pads, rotors, and caliper on the one side. That one was just done. They're doing them like one wheel at a time. This was already done once, which is also weird, but at a different time than the other one was done. Basically making a mess, but doing what we can. It's one of those things where I kind of feel like I'm like, well, if you can't do it a certain way, maybe you should just wait a little while. Problem is, having some brakes is better than having no brakes. I don't know why that cotter pin bothers me. I feel like it's going to cut my hand. Anyway, got my drip pan so I don't make too much of a mess. I'm just going to pull the caliper off, then get the bracket and the rotor swapped out, get the new caliper mounted, then transfer the hose from the old caliper to the new caliper. 8 millimeters is all I needed. You wanted it this way, not me. You can see how hot those brakes got. I gotta put all these parts back in the box. I really am tempted to say, well, let's follow her down the road when she takes the car and see if her brake lights are on.
He's 100% cool with that. He was getting it. Gave it to him. This custom ball. Yeah, the whole fucking top of the car. So the car is all around.
Sounds to me like Joe's gonna take care of it. You just get the pump for him. Sounds to me like he's all excited to get it sorted out for you.
I'm just excited to get my car back. Fresh oil change, fresh spark plugs. Didn't need the coil.
Nice.
I'm guessing. I don't know. He didn't say. He said that. The guy before me obviously never did. Oh, he said spark plugs in. I didn't really want to use spark plugs. Usually what happens is the boot.
Brake pads are the same as the bag. Clip in. The main difference is this clip you have to put in separately from the pad. It's not all one piece. I push this in last. I'll do these two, this foot and this one, Sometimes you got to use pliers, but as long as you get the little leg over here and into the little slot that's cut in there, win. As long as you keep winning, you keep winning. Now, I got a new bolt for the hose. I got new copper washers, and I got a 16 to take this off. I'm gonna need we don't want to set the internet on fire. Take it easy. A 10 or 11 for that, I think. That's gonna be an 11. So I got my drip pan. Let's go. Let's do this thing. I want to put you in a better spot? Okay. I don't want you to miss a second of the action. Pikachu!
We'll get this thing all done for you, man.
Switch my socket out. Not gonna hurt nothing if it drips a little while and get some of that old fluid that got hot out of there. Make sure the rubber plastic cap, whatever is out of there. Alright. Should be just a matter of bleeding these brakes now. Putting these parts in the warranty boxes and bleeding it like crazy. Ain't got time to bleed. Oh man, that's like a race car right there. Oh yeah. You're not gonna get a brake pedal any better than that, son. I'm gonna take this thing for a drive and seat these pads. I think that Kia with the 2 tires approved, like wipers, air filter, serpentine belt, 2 tires in alignment. Oh boy. Funny story. They were like, you want to give one of the other guys that ticket? You got some brake jobs and stuff to do. But of course the Audi backed out. And then I saw what got towed in. The lawyer asked me to give this up. It's like a 96 Corvette, a 95 Corvette with a Paxton supercharger that's all modified, hot rodded, drag slicks on the back, and it won't start. So they're out there messing with it now. You want to see? You don't believe me? They're out there messing with it right now. I don't think so. You want to give up your quick and easy 3.5 hour ticket for this Corvette no start? Actually, I don't really care, but it's still funny. And to top it all off, the Snap-on man is here. Look at that guy out there trying to bait me into coming to buy some tools. This one has a mechanical belt tensioner, old school 12 millimeter. That belt comes right off of there. Look at that. Practically falls in on its own. I'm gonna get me a ratchet. I'm gonna get me a 12 millimeter. In all seriousness, it's the old Corvette out there. I was messing with him a little bit. It starts and stalls. If you touch the gas, it dies. It's acting like it's got no fuel pressure or ran out of gas. I said, put some gas in it, see what happens. Sometimes you gotta loosen that 14 also. Ryan's got his Ferrari at the Ferrari dealer up towards Orlando. It's actually an independent Ferrari shop. And they said, hey, your convertible top's not working correctly. You need a switch and a pump. $35,000. Like, seriously? So he found a pump for $2,000. Still expensive, but not $35,000. So I was messing with them. I said, you're like the customers that come in here with European cars. They don't have the money. Can't bust your friend's chops. Whose chops can you bust? Let's see if it's the right length. Well, it's certainly close enough to try. Hoping tonight to get the belt on, get the air filter and wiper blades on it. Tomorrow the tires will be here, and we'll do an alignment, and we'll mount 2 tires. Here's the problem. I mentioned this belt package thing before. It's really frustrating. I guess they can't put them in a package shape and then it goes on the car. Because they fit more in one application, in all seriousness. But boy, would it be cool. Now this. Oh, there it is. Okay. Whew. That was a lot of work. I thought it was going to be easier than that. Wherever the longest run of belt is, you want to be able to turn it. It should take quite a bit of force to turn it 90 degrees. That's how you know it's tight enough. And after you run it and break it in, which is about 15 minutes or so getting it warm, you should double check and make sure it didn't settle in and get too loose afterwards. That's why I go a little tighter than I'd kind of like to initially. Generally when you recheck them, it's fine. Looking good. Uh-oh. They're letting out all the horsepower. Wow. Look at that thing. I didn't even know he made it here. It's way nicer. That's what he's doing down there, but he looks handsome doing it. Look at this thing. I'm not too aggressive with my wiper blade sales, but this one really needed them bad, so. It looks like, they said it takes a 14, but that's like a rear wiper. I'm not sure if it's going to work. Take the old one off and we'll see. Interesting. See how much he's helping? He loves it now that he's not working on it all the time. He'll help though. Flat rate makes for a funny work environment. He's like, I don't want to do it, but I'll help you do it.
Put the tires in the tire.
All right, thanks. This 14-inch wiper. Now this one looks like it'll work. Just look at this. Tell me this stuff ain't cheap to make. It comes with all these adapters. It's like $9. So you didn't make these for like 2 cents a piece. This is the adapter for that style, I believe. Goes in here. Boom. Boom. Easy peasy. Well, I thought we were going to have to get some weird wiper thing ordered from some special place in Korea. But we got it. Well, I can see the belt's not centered on the blower. Got a brand new water pump in it. Someone's been working on it. Got the Axle variable injector controller. Got all kinds of fuel management, add-on stuff, and I don't know if that's an enrichment solenoid or what. We got to check the fuel pressure tomorrow and some things like that. So nobody wants to work on it, of course. So you know I'm going to end up working on it. They all started laughing, having a good time. So we'll figure something out on it. Fuel pressure regulator. We could just go ahead and adjust the fuel pressure up. I would normally put a gauge somewhere around here where you can see it, but I think, yeah, they've put this on there, so it's supposed to read fuel pressure on a gauge somewhere. I bet you it doesn't have any, so the gauge doesn't read, right? It barely idles. You hit the gas, it dies. They idled it in. We'll play with it tomorrow. And that's where we're leaving it. Pretty busy today. We had a lot done. A lot of weird stuff too, though. But it was a good day. Hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. Hope you'll choke the like button on the way out. And I hope I'll see you in another video, because you're awesome.